Hello, good morning. I'm Judge Carter. If you are here as a witness this morning, could you please stand up and raise your right hand to be sworn in? Thank you.
Do you swear to tell the truth, whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
All right, thank you very much. You may be seated. I just want to remind everyone as well, it's very difficult with these masks on to be able to hear when you're in the witness box. So when you come in, make sure you keep your mask up and then speak directly into the microphone. I know it's a little awkward, but it's just very hard to hear in here. So I just want to remind everyone of that before we get started. All right, Mr. Suarez, do we have Ms. Maldonado? Good morning, ma'am. Tell me your name, please.
Crystal Maldonado.
Ms. Maldonado, this is case number 20 CF 13712. Mr. Suarez, would you place your appearance on the record, please?
My name is Anthony Suarez, appearing on behalf of Crystal Maldonado, Your Honor. Thank you very much.
Ma'am, you were arrested for aggravated battery with a motor vehicle and battery domestic violence. There is probable cause. Is there anyone here? Is the victim present this morning? No, okay. Mr. Suarez, did you want to be heard with
Yes, Your Honor.
bond? Okay.
I'm asking this court to release my client on, with no bond on our own recognizances. You may note from the police report that the complainant did not even want to sign. He did not sign an affidavit, did not wish to proceed in this matter. There is no physical evidence here. The home at which they live is her home. She lives in the home. From my conversations with my witnesses from yesterday, he has left that home. And so my client, not only is a 34-year-old female who's never been arrested in her life, she is a very responsible citizen. She's the manager of a Kentucky Fried Chicken. I see Colonel Sanders is on her picture here. And she's never had a problem in her life. In fact, and not only is she responsible, that she holds a responsible job in our community, she has a child. And that child is a highly handicapped child, cannot walk. It requires extreme amount of attention on her behalf. And I must note that I know this young lady for more than 10 years, and she is the stepdaughter of my secretary at the office. So I know that she has respect for the system. She will come back. There's no way that she is not going to come back. She's essential to be free, Your Honor, to take care of her child. In fact, the victim in this case is a babysitter, a paid babysitter for her child, because the child cannot be left alone. So this is a crisis, a humanitarian crisis occurring. So based on all the factors and lack of the strength of the case, the strength of the commitment to the community, that I ask this court to pose no bail on my client.
All right.
State has no objection to PTR, Your Honor.
Okay. So, Ms. Maldonado, what I'm going to do, I'm going to place some conditions as to release first. And this is not a final order. Mr. Suarez, you can file a motion to have these modified. I just have not heard from the alleged victim this morning, so these are some standard conditions that I will impose. You are not to have any contact with the victim. You do need to maintain a separate residence. Was this person living with you in your home?
He was a babysitter.
Pardon me?
Babysitter.
Okay. You do need to maintain a separate residence. You're not to possess any weapons or firearms, ma'am. I am going to place you on pretrial release at this time. You will phone in and check in with them. You won't have to pay any monetary bond to be released from the jail, but you will be supervised by a pretrial release officer until the case is resolved in court. Okay? Anything else this morning?
I'm sorry, but the bail conditions?
The conditions are no contact with the victim, maintaining a separate residence, and not possessing any weapons or firearms. And I've placed her on pretrial release, so there's no monetary bond.
Okay, it's pretrial release. That's what.
That's right.
All right, thank you very much.
You're welcome, sir. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And then, Mr. Parker Cyrus, your client is Maurice Cotton, is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, that's 20 MM 7348. It's my understanding that Mr. Cotton is not going to be brought to court this morning due to him being in a medical dorm.
Yes, Your
So
Honor.
that's a COVID issue. Did you want to enter a plea of not guilty on his behalf at this time?
Yes, Your Honor. Not guilty. Demand discovery, 15 days for motions, jury trial.
So this is a Division 50 case. pretrial conference is going to be December 14th at 10 a.m. in courtroom 7C.
7C. Thank
That's
you, Your
right.
Honor. And Your Honor, the issue of bond, actually Judge Schumacher denied a motion to set bond on the case.
Okay?
I'd ask if Your Honor would reconsider, considering there's no plea offer at this time. Also, he's not going to be able to brought the court for some time. Not sure exactly how that's working. I did ask a couple members of your staff. They said only the public defender is allowed to use the video conferencing at this time for court. So if there is a plea that is to be set for plea, what is the process? Would I contact your JA and try to get him brought over, or would it be on video, say in 2 weeks? Because I was told by a corporal yesterday he'll be in this status, medical status, until December 15th. So from now until then, can't be by video because it's only the public defender, and he can't be brought over, or can he be brought over with an order
So
from Your
when they're
Honor?
in a medical dorm, they can't even appear on the Polycom video to enter a plea. That's not possible to do that. So for the next 2 weeks, he cannot be brought anywhere to court. In terms of bond, I don't know if that's something that you want to readdress with Judge Shoemaker. I don't have a bond motion in front of me. The case is not assigned to my division. So the bond issue would have to be readdressed in front of Judge Shoemaker. Once he has been released from the medical dorm, I believe that they are transporting people to the courthouse for limited purposes. So you'd have to coordinate with Judge Shoemaker's office to see the best way to get the case set for a plea.
Yes, Your Honor. Yesterday I did make contact with his JA.
Okay?
She wasn't sure what the process would be, and I spoke with the corporal that is where he is. I forgot the name of the exact
The dorm.
location, but the corporal said he will be there until December 15th. He cannot use the video
Right.
because it's only for the public defenders, and they will not bring anyone without a court order. So since the JA of Judge Schumacher's not sure, does Your Honor know, it would have to be through Judge Schumacher's office?
Yes, so
Or-
that's up to Judge Shoemaker. If someone's in a medical dorm, I don't court order anyone to court. If the jail's made a
Right.
determination, a medical determination that it's not safe for them to come to court, I'm not gonna put other people in danger. So I do not court order anyone to come to court when I've been told that they're medical. Now, I don't know what Judge Shoemaker's thoughts are on that. He may enter an order. That's something you'd have to ask their office. But again, the plea would not be something that I would handle here.
Right, I understand, Your Honor. Or possibly the video option, is that something that's been talked about? Or I know it's only for PDs,
So-
but that's,
I know, I'm sorry I don't have more answers for you, but the Polycom is my understanding that that's a public defender's system. I don't know
Right.
that any of the private bar has access to the Polycom. But again, we're doing jury trials, so I would think that people are being transported or would be able to be transported in a limited fashion to attend court.
right,
Okay?
okay. All right, thank you, Your Honor.
You're very welcome.
Have a good day.
Oh, you do? Okay. On McCoy, 2020 CF 1158. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, ma'am.
Tell me your name, please.
Ivan McCoy.
All right, this is case number 2020 CF 1158. Mr. McCoy, you failed to appear for arraignment. At this time, your bond is set at none. I will appoint the public defender to represent you if they were not previously appointed. Ma'am, good morning.
Good morning.
Tell me your name, please.
Takia Gaines.
I can't hear anything you're saying.
Takia Gaines.
All right, Ms. Harris, what did you want to inform the court of this morning?
Well, I have been trying to reach the state regarding the charges
Okay,
because I had found out that my mother lied on him.
okay,
And ever since I found out about it, I have been trying to reach them concerning the charges because, right is right and wrong is wrong. You know, she hates the man and she had my kids lie on him.
I see.
And my
Okay.
kids explained the situation, but I haven't been able to get a hold to the state about it.
Okay. So, Ms. Kennedy Swanson, are you giving her,
I'm going to give her a business card. The ASA is Chad Frost.
great.
Okay.
So Ms. Kennedy Swanson's going to give you contact information for the attorney that's handling the case so that you can get in direct contact with them and let them know.
Okay.
Mr. McCoy, you're going to need to have your lawyer file a bond motion with Judge Wilson
Wait.
on this matter.
Well, excuse me. I went to court. I contacted them and told them, hey, I went to the wrong destination. I don't have my own transportation. I don't stay in Orlando. I stay in Daytona Beach, Florida.
Okay.
And I woke up at 7 o'clock in the morning. I had to get a ride from somebody else. They put in their GPS this.
Mr. McCoy, I want to stop you right there. You may have a valid reason for your failure to appear, but
I
that's
went-
okay.
I'm saying I
So
went to
listen, no,
court.
don't interrupt me.
Okay.
Judge Wilson has indicated on her capias already that she does not want me to modify it. It's written directly on the capias, so legally I can't modify it. Sometimes I'll reach out to the judge to say, hey, would you like to make a modification? And they'll get back to me, but she's already indicated she doesn't want me to do that. So you're gonna have your lawyer file a motion and you'll be able to present your mitigation to Judge Wilson as to why you didn't come to court.
Okay, so when would I have court?
You need to have your public defender file a motion with Judge Wilson and they'll set it for a hearing. All right? Thank you, sir.
So I have no bond and I'm not being released.
That's right. Thank you, ma'am.
And you have move-ups next, Your Honor?
Sure. Does that include Saunders?
Yes.
Okay. She was the victim's mother. Good morning, your name?
Saunders. Last name Saunders.
This is 20MM 8112. This is your arraignment for the offense of resisting officer without violence. Is there an offer for Mr. Saunders?
I have one moment.
Sure.
I accidentally closed it off. There is no offer for Mr. Saunders. Ms. Bush did not convey one.
Pardon me?
Ms. Bush did not convey an offer.
Okay. Mr. Saunders, you are represented by the Office of the Public Defender. Mr. Thompson, would you like to enter a plea of not guilty?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. This is Division 80, pretrial conference, January 14th at 9 a.m. in courtroom 9C. Thank you, sir. Good morning, your name?
Good morning, I'm Jamila Nicole Wheaton pulling again.
Ma'am, you're here in 20MM 8230. You were arrested for trespassing. There's probable cause. Is there an offer for Miss Wheaton?
With cold credit for time served, no return.
Miss Wheaton, would you like to accept the state's offer?
Yes, I got a question though.
Sure.
That guy down at Links, he keeps harassing me. They had pink slip me, or would you say bear rag me into the hospital behind someone making a phone call, talk about I needed this and I needed that. I asked that he be under investigation, Links under investigation for
Okay.
harassment.
So, Miss Wheaton, Pullen, you understand you can't go back to the link station, right? So if you don't go back there, they're not going to be able to bother you.
Well, how you expect me to go down there? They giving me bus passes to go down there. I got to go to Identity to get my ID and my birth certificate. They trying to block me from getting my birth certificate and my
Well,
ID.
you can go to iDignity, ma'am, but you can't go to the link station.
So how am I supposed to get my ID? You gonna give me some money to get a new ID from the DMV?
Why do you have to go to
Because
links
my
to
property
get
was
to
stolen
iDignity?
from the vacation lodge.
What?
My property was stolen from the vacation lodge.
No, I understand, but you don't have to go to Leaks to be able to go to iDignity. They're not the same place.
No, but that's how you get down there.
You have to find
So
another
they're
way.
gonna keep sending me to jail for going down there?
Yeah, absolutely. You're gonna keep
That's
going to
on
jail.
them. That's on them to keep wasting
No,
government
it's gonna be on
funds.
you, Miss Wheaton Pullen, and you're gonna be sitting here and you're not gonna be getting released.
She'll send me upstate if that's how that's gonna keep going. For an ID and a birth certificate?
All right, Miss Pullen, your bond is $1,000. Thank
That's
you.
cool, thank you.
Yes. The public defender is appointed to represent her. Good Good morning, your name?
Shanisha Love.
Miss Love. How about Mr. Schlegel? Schlegel?
He's on the bench, bro.
He's what?
He's next.
Oh, okay. And you're Miss Love?
Yes, ma'am.
Miss Love, you are here for an out-of-county probation violation out of Lake County. It is alleged that you violated your probation in Lake County by committing the new law offense here in Orlando in case number 20MM8173, which was aggravated battery with a deadly weapon. There is probable cause for your violation of probation, ma'am. Your bond in that matter will be set at none. Once you resolve the Orlando case, whether by posting bond or in court, Lake County will come and pick you up.
I'm on probation here.
You may have transferred it, but it originated from Lake County. So
Oh.
they'll have to take care of that, okay?
Okay.
Thank you. Good morning, your name?
Good morning. My name's James Schlegel.
Mr. Schlegel, you are here for an out-of-county warrant from Pinellas County. Your bond is $313, sir.
Yes, ma'am. I don't have any money until the 28th.
Okay, well, I'm gonna email Pinellas County and let them know you're here and let them, ask them if they'd like to modify your bond and give you a court date.
Yeah, because when they gave me a court date, they sent the paperwork, and I didn't get the paperwork until past due. The court date was already passed.
Yeah, well, maybe you could enter a plea on the case here in Orange County.
I was supposed to get surgery. I was supposed to get cut open and get my pancreas taken off today. And they arrested me in the hospital. Look at my arms. See? It's from, I've been in the hospital for 6 months, ma'am. Yeah. And my boat got stuck. I bought a big boat. My boat got stuck. And I couldn't get it out. And one boat couldn't get it out. They needed 2 boats. And the other guy that was going to help me, he had to work. He had to work until Friday, and they gave me till Friday to get the boat out of there, off the sandbar where it was stuck at.
So, Mr. Schlegel, like I said, I'm going to,
I just want to go home, ma'am.
I know you do, but I have to reach out to Pinellas County first. Once I hear back from them, I'll bring you back to court to either, and let you know what they said, okay? Thank you,
Okay.
sir.
So I got to stay here?
Yes, unless you pay the bond.
Hello, Cisco Unity Connect.
Good morning, Your Honor. This is La Bretaña Spanish interpreter. The interpreter has already been sworn.
Great, thank you. We're in courtroom 1 at the BRC.
Okay.
Hablo español. Okay.
There is contact, Your Honor.
Great, thank you. Good morning, please tell me your name.
Jeremías Orlando Mejía Yok. Mejía Yok.
Jeremías Orlando Mejías Yok.
No, Mejía Yok.
Mejía Yok.
Sí.
What about Roger Olivia? Oh. Oh, that's fine, okay. All right, sir, good morning. This is case number 20 CF 13703. It looks like
Sí.
Gyro
Yes.
Yosemia is the victim in this case.
Ajá.
Is that right?
Were they arrested together, Your Honor?
Maybe I'm wrong. I thought. I read that as well. No. Okay. All right, sir, you were arrested for aggravated assault with a weapon and battery domestic violence. There is probable cause. I'll appoint the public defender to represent you. You're not to have any contact with the victim. You are to maintain a separate residence. You're not to possess any weapons or firearms. You're also not to possess or consume any alcohol or controlled substances without a valid prescription. Your bond on count 1 is $2,500. Your bond on count 2 is $100. And you also have an immigration hold, sir. Thank you.
Oh, ¿cuánto es la fianza, dijo?
How much is the bond? How much did you say?
It's $2,600.
Fianza.
The bond?
Yes.
Okay, sería 2. La fianza 2,600.
The bond, 2,600.
Yes.
2,600.
2,600.
Yes.
Ya, sí.
Yes.
Ma'am, good morning. Your name?
Emilis Alfonso.
Emilis Alfonso.
Ma'am, this is case number 20MM8234. You are arrested for battery, dating violence, and criminal mischief. There is probable cause. I'll appoint the public defender to represent you. You're not to have any contact with the victim. You are to maintain a separate residence. You may return one time with the police to get your things if needed. You're not to possess any weapons or firearms. I'm going to place you on pretrial release at this time. Good morning. Your name, sir?
Israel Garcia. Israel Garcia Vasquez.
Israel Garcia Vasquez.
Sir, you have 2 cases that you failed to appear in, 20 CT 3569 and 20 CT 3570, for attaching a tag unassigned and for driving while license suspended or revoked. Was there an offer for Mr. Garcia Vasquez?
It wasn't, but I have 1 second, Your Honor.
Sure.
Make sure it's not cross investigation. I'll do an adjudication of guilt, credit for time served. Do not drive without a valid license.
Sir, the state's offer is an adjudication of guilt in both cases, credit for time served, and you're not to drive without a valid driver's license. Would you like to accept the offer?
Sí.
Yes.
Did you read the plea form before court?
Yes.
Do you have any questions about any of the rights that you're giving up?
No.
No.
Are you on probation?
No.
No.
Do you understand if you're not a U.S. citizen, this plea will result in your deportation?
Correcto. Yes.
Correct. Yes.
Are you under the influence of any drugs, alcohol, or medication?
No.
No.
I'll accept your plea in both cases, adjudicate you guilty, sentence you to 39 days in jail. You've got credit for 39 days time served. Those will run concurrent to one another. You're not to drive without a valid driver's license. You will have to pay court costs due by November 17th of 2021. You have 30 days to appeal the judgment and sentence of the court. Thank you. Sir, good morning. Your name?
Omar Feliciano.
Sir, this
Omar
is
Feliciano.
This is case number 20 CF 13743. You were arrested for 5 counts of sexual battery with a child between the ages of 12 and 18 in a familial or custodial relationship. There is probable cause. I'll appoint the public defender to represent you. State, did you want to be heard with respect to bond?
We believe the defendant should continue to be held at no bond, Your Honor, looking at the 4 corners of the affidavit. No contact with any children under the age of 18. No contact, obviously, with the victim in this case. No weapons, no firearms, no drugs, no alcohol, no return. Make sure the defendant understands no contact with the victim, even while he's housed at the Orange County Jail or victim's family.
Mr. Thompson?
Your Honor, I don't want to make a Pep G argument. However, from the reading of the statute, I don't believe that this is a life felony. In paragraph B, it says engages in any act with a person while the person is 12 years of age or older, but younger than 18 years of age, which constitutes sexual battery under paragraph 1H, commits a felony of the first degree punishable by terms of years not exceeding life or provided in the subsections. What I believe that to be is that this is a first degree felony punishable up to 30 years. Now, however, there's multiple counts. So I believe that this statute is intended that it can't be stacked on each other, so a person could spend the rest of his life in prison because of this charge. And to further support my argument, if you go down to paragraph C, which is right under it, it says engages in any act with a person while the person is less than 12 years of age, which constitutes sexual battery. In paragraph 1H, on an attempt to commit sexual battery, injures the sexual organs of such a person, commits a capital or life felony, punishable pursuant to section 2. When you talk about a life felony, that's a felony that is punishable by a life in prison, meaning the defendant could die and will die in prison if he is sentenced under that subsection. In the state of Florida, a person can't be sentenced to life in prison, like to die in prison for this charge unless the alleged victim is under 12 years of age, regardless of a familial relationship or not. So it's my reading of the statute, Your Honor, that my client's entitled to a bond today, as this isn't a life felony.
I think you're right, Mr. Thompson. I'm looking at subsection B, 8B, which is what is in the affidavit, and he's right. Between 12 and 18 is a first degree felony punishable by 30. Subsection C is less than 12, is a capital or life felony.
Yes, Your Honor, I agree with Mr.
Okay.
Thompson.
All right, Mr. Thompson, you're correct. Did you want to take any testimony regarding his bond?
Yeah, I'll do that, Your Honor. Mr. Police, Your Honor, I'm gonna ask you a few questions regarding. Okay. Answer to the best of your knowledge. And only answer the question. You don't have to give any extra information. How much?
Hecho Messi.
I haven't done the tax discount yet.
Okay. How much money do you have to your name right now in savings or anything else?
1,500.
1,500.
Do you have any family or friends in the surrounding area that can help you post a bond?
Sí.
Yes.
How much money do you think that you could come up with to secure your own bond?
Pues Messi necesitaría saber cuánto es.
I would need to know what the amount would be.
Can you afford $10,000?
No.
No.
Can you afford $5,000?
A lo mejor.
Maybe.
Do you have any assets that you can pawn in order to raise your own bond?
Alguna prenda.
Some jewelry.
Excuse me, I didn't hear that. I didn't hear what his answer was. Okay, I didn't hear what his answer was.
I have some jewelry.
Are you an American citizen? Or are you an American citizen?
Sí.
Yes.
Do you have a passport?
No.
No.
If you are released, do you promise not to flee the jurisdiction of the court?
No.
No.
Do you promise to stay in contact with your attorneys for the duration of the case?
Sí.
Yes.
Do you have any other sources of income other than your current job?
No.
No.
No further questions, Your Honor.
Any questions from the state?
Yeah.
Bond on count 1 will be $20,000. Bond on count 2, 3, 4, and 5 will also be $20,000. Sir, you're not to have any contact with any children under the age of 18. You're not to have any contact with the victim or any witnesses. You are not to possess or consume any alcohol or controlled substances without a valid prescription. You are also to maintain a separate residence. And then as to the Osceola County case, I'm revoking the release in that matter, and bond will be set at none. Thank you, sir. We're finished. Thank you. Good morning, your name?
Good morning, Joanna. Roger Oliva. Roger Joel Oliva. Roger Joel Oliva.
Roger Oliva.
Joel Oliva.
Joel Oliva.
This is 20 CF 13723. Sir, you were arrested for throwing a deadly missile at or into an occupied vehicle, aggravated assault with a deadly weapon, and criminal mischief. There is probable cause. I'll appoint the public defender to represent you. You're not to have any contact with the victim. You're also not to possess any weapons or firearms. Bond on count 1 is $2,500. Bond on count 2, $103. I'm sorry, bond on count 2 is $150. Bond on count 3 is $100. And Mr. Olivia, I also need to inform you that you have an immigration hold. Thank you, sir. And Madam Interpreter, that was our last Spanish case this morning. Thank you for your help.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Good morning, your name?
Benjamin Randolph Barbary.
Sir, you have an out-of-county case from, it looks like Indian River County for failing to pay child support. There's a $1,000 purge. Are you able to post the purge?
I possibly can, yeah.
Okay. In the meantime, we'll reach out to Indian River County to see if they'd like to release it and provide you a court date to return in Indian River. You also were arrested in 20 CF 13669 for battery on a law enforcement officer, 3 counts, resisting officer with violence, 2 counts, and assault on a law enforcement officer. There's probable cause. I'll appoint the public defender to represent you.
So that's how many counts, ma'am?
6 counts.
Seriously?
There's 3 batteries, 2 resistings, and an assault. You're not to possess any weapons or firearms, sir. Your bond on count 1 is $2,500. Your bond on counts 2, 3, and 4 is $100, and 5 is $150. Your bond on count 6 is $100. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good morning, your name?
Darryl Montgomery.
Mr. Montgomery, you were arrested pursuant to a warrant in 20 CF 13164. You were arrested for kidnapping, tampering with a witness, and battery. I will appoint the public defender to represent you. You're not to have any contact with the victim. You are to maintain a separate residence. You're not to possess any weapons or firearms.
How could I talk to a PU?
Excuse me?
So who could I talk to about the case?
About the case? Your lawyer, the public defender?
And that won't be today.
Excuse me?
That won't be today.
I don't know when they'll come see you. Mr. Thompson, do you have some contact information for him?
Yes, we get them contact information. We met while they're in jail, but just in case, I'll give you the number to call right now. That's the number to call our office. It's bond. Your bond right now doesn't get revoked, so that's gonna be held at 0. And then I'm going to contact the attorney on that so they can try to file a bond motion and not try to
State, did you want to be heard with respect to bond as to count 1?
We believe, Your Honor, the defendant should be held at no bond. Looking at the 4 corners of the warrant, also the fact that the defendant has already has another DV case pending. We believe that because of that, he should be held at no bond as to count 1. No objection for count 2 and 3 to be to be subsidiary bonds.
Mr. Thompson, did you want to be heard?
have a moment to confer.
Sure.
Your Honor, even though I don't feel that there's proof of the presumption great for the kidnapping, however, my client is out on bond. So I don't think this would be the appropriate venue for me to make my Pep G argument. I will reserve the right to do that in the trial division downtown, Your Honor.
All right. So, Mr. Montgomery, at this time, I will make no finding as to whether or not the state has met their burden to establish that there's proof evident or presumption great with respect to count 1. So bond will remain at none. Bond on count 2 is 150. Bond on count 3 will be 100. I've already stated the prior conditions. I am revoking the bond in 20 CF 12508. That bond will be set at none. Thank you, sir.
We'll do all that downtown. All right, they take that. Thank you, Your Honor.
You're welcome. Good morning, your name?
Joseph Perez.
Mr. Perez, this is 20 CF 12986. You were arrested pursuant to a warrant for aggravated battery on a pregnant person. I'll appoint the public defender to represent you. You're not to have any contact with the victim. You are to maintain a separate residence. You are not to possess any weapons or firearms, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
Your bond is $2,500. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good morning, your name?
Orlando Rodriguez Otero.
This is 20 CF 13757. You were arrested for battery on a person 65 years of age or older and battery domestic violence. There is probable cause. I will appoint the public defender to represent you. Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning.
Tell me your name, please.
Alba Otero.
Miss Otero, do you want to have contact with your son?
Yes.
Are you afraid of him?
No.
Does he live with you?
I'm sorry?
Does he live with you?
Yes.
Do you want him to continue living with you?
Yes.
Have there been any other instances of violence between the two of you?
Just arguments, but
Has he ever been physical with you in the past?
just once.
When was that?
I can't remember the date.
Excuse me?
I can't remember the date.
Okay, how long ago? Within the last 5 years?
Yes.
Yes?
Mm.
Within the last year?
Yes.
Okay. All right, thank you. Did the state have any questions?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Thompson?
No, Your Honor.
All right. Mr. Otero, you are not to have any contact with your mother. You are to maintain a separate residence. You may return one time with the police to get your things. You are not to possess any weapons or firearms. Your bond on count 1 will be $1,500. Your bond on count 2 is $100. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Mrs. Otero.
Thank you.
Sir, good morning. Your name?
Hector Andres Rosa Padilla.
Sir, you're here in 20 CF 7116. You violated your conditions of pretrial release. At this time, your bond is set at none. You'll need to have your lawyer file a bond motion in Division 14. Thank you.
Can I ask you a question, ma'am?
Sure.
Why the violation for a PTR? What was it? Isn't it PD that I have to talk to?
You were rearrested in Osceola County for battery.
Yeah, but they dismissed that case, ma'am.
Again, you'll need to have your lawyer file a bond motion in front of the judge who signed the warrant.
Okay.
Thank you. Good morning, your name?
Kelly Seeley.
Mr. Seeley, this is 20 CF 13708. You were arrested for battery, dating violence, and battery 1 prior. There is probable cause. I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent you. You're not to have any contact with the victim. You are to maintain a separate residence. You're not to possess any weapons or firearms. You're also not to possess or consume any alcohol or controlled substances without a valid prescription. I'm going to place you on pretrial release at this time, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
Ma'am, good morning. Your name?
Good morning, Janice Bosque.
Ms. Bosque, this is 20 MM 8211. You were arrested for battery domestic violence. There is probable cause. I'll appoint the public defender to represent you. Good morning, sir.
Morning.
Tell me your name, please.
David Bosque.
Mr. Bosque, is that correct? All right, Mr. Bosque, I just need to remind you to speak into the microphone so that we can all hear you. Do you want to have contact with your wife?
We have 2 daughters.
Excuse me?
We have 2 daughters, so yeah.
So is that a yes?
Yes.
Are you afraid of her?
No.
Do you have any concerns about your safety or your daughter's safety if I were to allow contact between the two of you?
No.
Have there been instances of violence in the past between the two of you?
Yes.
Okay. And when was that?
Probably 4 years ago.
Excuse me?
Like 4 years ago?
4 years ago? Did that happen only one previous time?
Yes.
And who was the aggressor in that situation?
She was.
Pardon me?
She was.
She was. How long have you been in a relationship?
We've been married 7 years.
How long?
7 years.
7 years. Any questions from the state?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Thompson?
No, Your Honor.
Ms. Bosque, you are not to have any hostile contact with your husband. Do you understand what that means?
Yes.
You are not to possess any weapons or firearms. You are also not to possess or consume any alcohol or controlled substances. I am going to place you on pretrial release at this time.
Okay.
Thank you.
What does that mean? Sorry.
You will be monitored by a pretrial release officer instead of paying a monetary bond until your case has been concluded in court.
Okay. And in terms of no contact with the kids?
I ordered no hostile contact. So you can have
okay.
contact with your husband or your children as long as it's not aggressive or hostile, meaning you can't argue, you can't fight, anything like that. Do you understand?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Could I
Thank
ask
you.
a question?
Go ahead, sir.
When she will be released?
Mr. Bosque, you have to speak right into the microphone.
When she will be released? Because she
I
doesn't
can't
have
hear you.
About 4 to 6 hours it takes to process her out.
46 hours.
She'll be released later today.
Today? All right, because she doesn't have a ride home.
What?
She doesn't have a ride home.
Well, she'll have to call someone when she gets out, or you'll have to come back and pick her up, or you'll have to wait, or she'll have, I don't know what to tell you
Well,
about that.
I'm just asking just to see, to know if I go to work or not. Just stay and wait.
I can't hear anything you're saying.
I just want to know to see if I go to work or just stay around and wait to pick her up.
Yeah, I don't know. It'll be later this afternoon. I have no idea when she's going to
All
be
right.
released, okay?
Thank you.
you. Good morning, your name?
Edgar Jennings Boswell.
Mr. Boswell, you're here in 20 MM 8222. You were arrested for battery domestic violence. There's probable cause. I will appoint the public defender to represent you. Ma'am, good morning, your name?
Francis Davis.
Miss Davis, do you want to have contact with Mr. Boswell?
No.
No?
No.
Thank you, ma'am. Sir, you're not to have any contact with Miss Davis. You are to maintain a separate residence. You're not to possess any weapons or firearms, sir. Your bond is $500. Thank you. Thank you, ma'am. Good morning, your name?
Lloyd Johnson.
Mr. Johnson, this is 20 MM 8212. You were arrested for battery domestic violence. There is probable cause. I'll appoint the public defender to represent you. You're not to have any contact with the victim. You're to maintain a separate residence. You're not to possess any weapons or firearms. Your bond is $1,000. You also have out-of-county warrant from Polk County related to a battery domestic violence. Your bond is set at none. You also have a felony petty theft out of Polk County where the bond is set at none, sir. Thank you.
Next court appearance?
I don't know.
Okay.
So how much was this bond, Your Honor?
500?
Thank you.
You said for Johnson Lloyd?
What?
For Johnson Lloyd?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you said 1,000. It's 500.
Oh, she said 1,000.
Did I say? I said 1,000.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Good morning, your name?
Juan Melendez Sotomayor.
This is 20MM 8213, sir. You were arrested for battery domestic violence. There's probable cause. I'll appoint the public defender. You're not to have any contact with the victim. You are to maintain a separate residence. You are not to possess any weapons or firearms. You may have a one-time return with the police to get your things if needed.
Okay.
I'm going to place you on pretrial release, sir, at this time. Thank you.
Thank you.
Juan Gabriel Melendez Sotomayor. Good morning, your name?
Raymond Pittman, the third.
Mr. Pittman, you're here in 20MM 8231. You were arrested for battery dating violence. There's probable cause. I'll appoint the public defender to represent you, sir. Ma'am, good morning.
Good morning.
Tell me your name.
Anna Carols.
Miss Carols, do you want to have contact with Mr. Pittman?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you afraid of him?
No, ma'am.
And you're living together?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you want to continue living together?
Yes, ma'am.
Are there any children in the home?
I have a 13-year-old daughter that visits. I have 50% custody.
Okay. Do you have any concerns about her safety or your safety if I were to allow contact between the two of you?
Absolutely not. He's an outstanding, role model.
And so, ma'am, during the course of your relationship, have there been any instances of violence between the two of you?
No, ma'am.
Any questions from the state?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Thompson?
No, Your Honor.
All right. Mr. Pittman, I'm going to order that you are not to have any hostile contact with Miss Carls. Do you understand what that means?
Explain.
It means that you are not to act aggressive toward her in any way. You're not to be disrespectful to her. You're not to yell at her. Do you understand?
Yes, I understand. You heard that, baby?
You are not to possess any weapons or firearms. Mr. Pittman, I'm going to place you on pretrial release at this time. Thank you, sir. Thank you, ma'am.
What is pretrial?
He'll be released later today. You won't have to post a bond, but he'll be released later today.
Okay. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Young Shelton, mental health.
Mr. Thompson, do you want to waive his appearance?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, I'll appoint the public defender to represent Mr. Shelton in
This. Shelton.
20 MM 8227. He was arrested for battery domestic violence. There is probable cause. He's not to have any contact with the victim. He's to maintain a separate residence. He may have a one-time return with the police to get his things if needed. He's not to possess any weapons or firearms. I'm going to place him on pretrial release. Good morning. Your name?
Gervais Williams.
Mr. Williams, you are here in 20 MM 8229. You were arrested for battery domestic violence. There's probable cause. I'll appoint the public defender to represent you. You're not to have any contact with the victim. You are to maintain a separate residence. You're not to possess any weapons or firearms. You may have a one-time return with the police to get your things if needed. I'm going to place you on pretrial release at this time, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
Ma'am, good morning. Your name?
Marcia Zealous.
This is 20 MM 8236. You were arrested for violation of a condition of pretrial release. There's probable cause. I'll appoint the public defender to represent you. You're not to return to the scene. You're not to have any contact with the victim. You are to abide by the no contact order that's currently in place in 20 MM 7788. Bond will be set at $1,500. You're also not to possess or consume any alcohol or controlled substances without a valid prescription. I'm revoking the bond in 20 MM 7788. That will be set at none. Thank you, ma'am. Good morning, your name?
Robert Powell.
Mr. Powell, you failed to appear for court in 20 CT 6592. It's for driving while license suspended. Was there an offer for Mr. Powell?
I'm sorry, what's his last name, Hannah?
Powell? Powell.
Adjudication of guilt, credit for time served.
Mr. Powell, it's a credit time served offer. Did you want to enter a plea to the driving while license suspended case this morning?
That's fine. No contest?
What?
I'm sorry? I'm having trouble hearing.
Mr. Powell, you were arrested for failing to appear in court on a driving while license suspended case. Did you want to enter a plea to that case today, or did you want to post the bond?
I don't know.
All right, Mr. Powell, your bond is $2,000. I'm
Your Honor,
not going to take any action on the battery case. Thank you, sir.
Your Honor, I believe he said he couldn't hear.
I can't.
Good morning, your name?
Carlos Zawanen.
Sir, you were here in 20 CT 7088. You were arrested for driving without a valid driver's license. There is probable cause. I'll appoint the public defender to represent you. Your bond in that case is $500. You were also arrested in 20 MM 8232 for possession of cannabis less than 20 grams. There's also probable cause. I'll appoint the public defender to represent you. Your bond is $100. You also have an out-of-county case out of Seminole County, which is a violation of probation based upon your arrest in these new cases. The bond will be set at none, sir. Thank you. Oh. 19 CT 744. Mr. Thompson, do you want to enter a plea of not guilty?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. That's a Division 85 case. Pretrial conference is December 14th at 9 a.m. in courtroom 4A. Mr. Thompson, would you like to enter a plea of not guilty?
Yes, Your Honor.
That's 20 CT 6901. It's a Division 61 case. Pretrial conference, January 19th at 9:30 a.m. in courtroom 6B. Good morning, your name?
Aaron John Cone Jr. Aaron Cone Jr. Aaron
All
John
right, sure,
Cone.
just 1 second. I have some the resets are those last. I've got Antrell Bryant, Byron Doherty, and Michael Bennett. Okay. We can do them. That's for the FAD only. Okay, those are 2 resets. We can do them this afternoon though. Okay. Do you need their numbers? Okay. I'm sorry, sir. Will you tell me your name one more time, please?
Aaron John Cone Jr.
Thank you, Mr. Cohn. This is 20 MM 8233. You were arrested for trespass on property after warning. There is probable cause. Is there an offer for Mr. Cohn?
Adjudication of guilt, credit for time served, no return.
Mr. Cohn, did you want to enter a plea to the charge today? Okay. Did you read the plea form?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you have any questions about any of the rights you're giving up?
No, but I have a different question.
Okay, what's your question?
Is there any I'm not trying to be homeless no more, so it's like, is there any programs or something that I could go to or shelter or something like that?
Where do you live? I mean, where do you kind of stay around? Like, are you in the downtown area? You're in West Orange County? You're in East Orange County?
Downtown area. I went to iDrive. I slept by a Publix one time, but I'm tired of being homeless. I'm just trying to get my life together, you know.
Yeah.
But downtown, you know, I walk a lot.
You walk a lot?
Yeah. I'm an electrician. I just got to find a new electrical job, you know.
Sure. Well,
But when I'm homeless, it's hard to, like, you know.
I'm not super familiar with all the programs that are downtown.
Or like a paper or something to refer me to or something.
Mr. Cohn, you have an ID?
Yeah, yes, ma'am. Somebody told me Bridges, maybe Bridges, you know, or something.
So, I'm gonna give you this. Have you gone to the drop-in center for the coalition?
Yeah, I went there, but I can't go back there till December 12th because I got caught smoking a cigarette in the bathroom. So I was trying to think maybe like a working program.
Have you gone to see the Hope team?
No, what's the hope?
I'm gonna give you that contact information too, okay?
Okay.
All right, Mr. Cohn. I don't know if these places will be able to help you or not.
Okay.
But I wrote the phone number down for Matthews Hope, and I wrote the address down and the phone number for the Hope team. If they can't, maybe they can point you in the right direction, okay?
All right, thank you.
All right, you're welcome, sir. Oh, I don't think I took your plea yet, though. So we're not finished quite yet.
Okay.
I did ask you if you read the plea form, and you said you had, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you have any questions about the constitutional rights that you're giving up?
No, ma'am.
Are you on probation?
No, ma'am.
Do you understand if you're not a U.S. citizen, this plea will result in your deportation?
Yeah.
Are you under the influence of any drugs, alcohol, or medication?
No.
All right, sir. I'll accept your plea, adjudicate you guilty, sentence you to 2 days or 1 day in jail. You've got credit for 1 day time served.
Okay.
You are not to return to the scene. You'll have to pay court costs, which are due by November 17th of 2021, so you have 1 year.
Okay.
And you have 30 days to appeal the judgment and sentence of the court, sir. Thank you, Mr. Cohn.
Thank you.
Good morning, your name?
Oh, he's Mr. Demps.
Mr. Demps, this is 20MM8225. You were arrested for battery. There's probable cause. I'll appoint the public defender. You're not to have any contact with the victim. You are not to possess any weapons or firearms, sir. Your bond is $500. Thank
How
you.
much?
500.
Oh, okay.
Good morning, sir. Your name?
Foster.
Mr. Foster, this is 20 MM 8220. You were arrested for trespassing. There is probable cause. Miss Kennedy Swanson, is there an offer?
Yes, adjudication of guilt, credit for time served, no return.
Okay. I didn't know.
Mr. Foster, did you want to accept that offer?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Did you read the plea form before court?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you have any questions about any of the rights you're giving up?
No.
Are you on probation?
No.
Do you understand if you're not a U.S. citizen, this plea will result in your deportation?
Okay.
Are you under the influence of any drugs,
No.
alcohol, or medication?
Nothing.
All right, sir, I'll accept your plea, adjudicate you guilty, sentence you to 2 days in jail.
Okay.
You've got credit for 2 days' time served.
Okay.
You are not to return to the scene.
Okay.
You'll have to pay court costs, which are due by November 17th of 2021. You have 30 days to appeal the judgment and sentence, sir. I'm not
Okay.
going to take any action on the out on bond case.
Okay.
Thank you.
Hello,
Hello, good morning. Tell me your name.
my name is Emmanuel Gonzalez.
Mr. Gonzalez, this is 20 MM 8228. You were arrested for resisting officer without violence. There is probable cause. State, is there an offer for Mr. Gonzalez?
Yes, Your Honor, withhold credit for time served.
Mr. Gonzalez, would you like to accept the offer of a withhold and credit for time served?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you read the plea form before court?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you have any rights or questions about any of the rights that you're giving up?
No, ma'am.
Are you on probation?
No, ma'am.
Do you understand if you're not a U.S. citizen, this plea will result in your deportation?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you under the influence of any drugs, alcohol, or medication?
No, ma'am.
All right, sir, I'll accept your plea, withhold adjudication, sentence you to 2 days in jail. You've got credit for 2 days' time served. You'll have to pay court costs. Those will be due by November 17th of 2021, and you have 30 days to appeal.
Okay.
Thank you. Good morning, ma'am. Your name?
Don Manzanares.
Ma'am, you failed to appear for court in 20 MM 518 for the offense of petty theft. At this time, the bond is set at none. Was there an offer for Ms. Manzanares?
Adjudication of guilt, credit for time served, no return, cost of investigation of $124 to the Apopka Police Department.
Ma'am, did you want to resolve your case today?
What does that mean?
You'd be entering a plea. So you'd be adjudicated guilty, given credit for whatever time you've served in the jail. You're not to return to the scene. You have to pay court costs, including the cost of investigation, to the Apopka Police Department.
Will I be let go today?
Yes.
I get out of jail today?
She has no other holds, is that right?
No, Your Honor.
So you'd be released today?
Yes, ma'am.
All right.
Thank you.
Sure. Did you read the plea form before court?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you have any questions about any of the rights you're giving up?
No, ma'am.
Are you on probation?
No, ma'am.
Do you understand that if you're not a U.S. citizen, this plea will result in your deportation?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you under the influence of any drugs, alcohol, or medication?
No, ma'am.
All right, I will accept your plea, adjudicate you guilty, sentence you to 2 days in jail. You've got credit for 2 days' time served. You're not to return to the scene. You'll have to pay court costs, including the cost of investigation of $124 to the Apopka Police Department. That'll be due by November 17th of 2021, and you have 30 days to appeal the judgment and sentence of the court, ma'am.
Am I getting released on my own?
Well, ma'am, the case is over. So you entered a plea to the case, so you won't need to return to court on this case. It's done.
So you will release me on my own today? I don't understand.
So
I don't understand.
you're just going to be released because you don't have any pending case.
Okay, so I
Okay.
don't gotta pay no bond or nothing, correct?
Correct. You won't have to pay a bond, ma'am.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Oh, that's all right. Good morning, your name?
Laura Moore.
Miss Moore, this is 20 MM 7484. You failed to appear for court on November 10th related to a petty theft. There is a $2,000 bond on the case. Was there an offer for Ms. Moore?
Adjudication of guilt, credit for time served, no return. I just have a moment to double check that there is no cost of investigation.
Sure. Ms. Moore, did you want to enter a plea on this case today?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
There is no cost of investigation, Your Honor.
Okay. Ms. Moore, did you read the plea form before court?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you have any questions about any of the rights that you're giving up?
No, ma'am.
Are you on probation?
No, ma'am.
Do you understand if you're not a U.S. citizen, this plea will result in your deportation?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you under the influence of any drugs, alcohol, or medication?
No, ma'am.
I will accept your plea, adjudicate you guilty, sentence you to 2 days in jail. You've got credit for 2 days' time served. You're not to return to the scene. You'll have to pay court costs, which will be due by November 17th of 2021. You have
ma'am.
30 days to appeal.
Yes,
Thank
ma'am.
you.
Thank you.
Good morning, your name?
Alan D. Wrong.
Sir, this is 20 MM 145. You failed to appear for court back on October 16th of this year. There's a $2,500 bond on the case. Was there an offer for Mr. Ron?
Adjudication of guilt, credit for time served, no return, cost of investigation of $72.76 to the Ocoee Police Department.
All right. Sir, did you want to enter a plea to the case today?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Did you read the plea form before court?
Yes, ma'am.
Any questions about the rights you're giving up?
No, ma'am.
Are you on probation?
No, ma'am.
Do you understand if you are not a U.S. citizen, that this plea will result in your deportation?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you under the influence of any drugs, alcohol, or medication?
No, ma'am.
I will accept your plea, adjudicate you guilty, sentence you to 48 days in jail. You've got credit for 48 days time served. You are not to return to the scene. You'll have to pay court costs, including the cost of investigation to the Ocoee Police Department in the amount of $72.76. Those will all be due by November 17th of 2021, and you have 30 days to appeal, sir. Thank you. Good morning, your name?
Mark Maestas.
Sir, you are here because it is alleged that you have violated your probation in 03 CT 59833. Mr. Maestas, did you want to enter a plea to this case today?
Yes.
Okay, so it's alleged that you violated your probation by committing a new law offense of driving while license suspended on May 12th of 2004, and that you failed to pay your cost of supervision of $40. Do you want to admit that you violated your probation in that way?
Yes.
All right. Mr. Maestas, you understand that by entering into the admission, you're giving up your right to have a hearing on this issue,
Yes.
and that your case will be over today?
Yes.
Okay. I'm going to accept your admission, revoke and terminate your probation. Do you know how many days? Just I'll give them 2 days, you think?
I don't know. I didn't need this one.
Pardon me, do I have to have a public defender speak for me, or could I speak for myself?
You can speak for yourself.
If I may, if it's possible, I've acquired some mental disorders, and if I can possibly be sentenced to like a 30-day mental evaluation for this case, because that would help me a lot, because I'm homeless and unemployed, and I'm trying to get proper diagnoses for my mental disorders and treatment for my mental disorders.
I'm sorry, Your Honor, I have 1 second.
Sure.
His name sounded familiar. Can I ask the defendant if he just got here from Miami?
Yes, I was extradited from Miami.
Okay, Your Honor, we had sent an agreement to dismiss it to Miami, but he was in transport at the time we submitted the offer to dismiss the VOP.
Oh, okay.
So the state will announce a dismissal for the violation of probation.
Oh, thank you, Ms. Kennedy Swanson. Okay, so Mr. Mesa, this case is actually going to be dismissed. Okay, so I'm not going to sentence you to anything today.
Excellent. Thank you
But
very much.
I need to tell you a couple things. One, you have reporting requirements when you're released from the jail, so you need to report to the sheriff's department. Okay, do you understand?
Yeah.
Okay. And then regarding your mental health issues, the only place I can tell you to go, maybe they can direct you in the right place, would be to go over to Aspire on Mercy Drive. Do you know where that is?
If you give me the address, I'll find it.
All right, it's 1800, here, I'll write it down for you.
And since I'm homeless, I was trying to get a residence in Miami-Dade County, but then they brought me up to here, okay? I have property down there that I have to get back down there to get.
Mine. Okay.
And, I'm gonna try, does the Salvation Army still allow people to stay here?
They do.
And, can you write the address to that down too? Because I stayed there one time.
Okay. Sure. No problem.
I might have to stay there again until I could get transportation to back down to Miami to retrieve my property
Right.
that they have stored there.
I've heard that Miami actually has some pretty good resources down there. So once you get down there, you're probably gonna look
yes.
into that.
I just recently relocated to down there, and then so I was apprehended.
Okay. Here, I'm going to write this down for you. All right. The top one I wrote is Aspire, it's for here in Orlando, and the other one is for the Salvation Army. When you get to Miami, I would definitely take a look at what resources they have down there for you, okay?
Yes.
All right, thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
Good morning, Mr. Arce.
Good morning, Your Honor.
You're here in 20 MO 1225 for open container. There's probable cause. Is there an offer for Mr. Arce?
Adjudication of guilt, credit for time served.
Mr. Arce, you going to take the offer?
Yes, Your Honor, I accept the offer.
Did you read the plea form?
Yes, I have.
Any questions about any of the rights you're giving up?
Oh, no questions.
Are you on probation?
No, I'm not.
You understand if you're not a U.S. citizen, this plea will result in your deportation.
Yes, I am a citizen.
Are you under the influence of any drugs, alcohol, or medication?
No, none at all.
I'll accept your plea, adjudicate you guilty, sentence you to 2 days in jail. You've got credit for 2 days time served. You are not, or you're going to have to pay court costs, all due by November 17th of 2021. You have 30 days to appeal the judgment and sentence of the court.
Thank you,
All
Judge.
right, be well, Mr. Arce. Mr. Hoover, good morning.
Good morning.
How are you today?
Outstanding.
You were here in 20 MO 1226. You were arrested for disorderly conduct. There is probable cause. Is there an offer for Mr. Hoover?
Adjudication of guilt, credit for time served.
Mr. Hoover, did you want to enter the plea?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you read the plea form?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you have any questions about the rights on the plea form?
No, ma'am.
Are you on probation?
No, ma'am.
Do you understand if you're not a U.S. citizen, this plea will result in your deportation?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you under the influence of any drugs, alcohol, or medication?
No, ma'am.
All right, Mr. Hoover, I'll accept your plea, adjudicate you guilty, sentence you to 2 days in jail. You've got credit for 2 days time served. You'll have to pay court costs, which will be due by November 17th of 2021. You've got 30 days to appeal, and I'm not going to revoke your ROR on your other case.
All right.
Thank you, sir. Sir, good morning. Your name?
Pardon?
What is it?
Clifford Dexter.
Mr. Dexter.
Yeah.
Sir, you are here for an out-of-county case out of Broward County related to a felony battery.
Yes.
The bond, sir, is set at none. And you also have another case out of Broward County where the bond is set at none for aggravated assault with a deadly weapon and felony battery with a prior conviction. There's also another case out of Broward County, which is a criminal mischief. The bond on that matter is $1,500, sir. I'll appoint the public defender here in Orange County to help you assist in coordinating with Broward County.
All right.
Thank you. Good morning, sir. Your name?
Tyrone Johnson.
Mr. Johnson, you are here for an violation of probation. Out of Lake County, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
It is alleged that you violated your probation by getting arrested in Orange County, Florida for the offense of grand theft 3rd degree. There's probable cause for the violation of probation, sir. At this time, your bond will be set at none. Once you resolve your Orange County case, Lake County will come and pick you up.
Ma'am.
Nope.
How much my bond is on my Lee County case, my Orange County case?
I don't know. Can you tell me that?
$1,000.
$1,000,
I
sir.
don't even know why I got arrested for Orange County. I haven't committed no crime.
All right, thank you. Good morning, your name?
Good morning. My name is Cordacia Emanuel.
Ms. Manuel, you're here for an out-of-county case out of Osceola County related to battery domestic violence. Looks like it's a violation of probation. The bond is set at none. Osceola County should come pick you up, but I'm going to appoint the public defender here in Orange County to assist you in the event that they do not.
You said Osceola is supposed to pick me up
Yes.
today? Or they're supposed to pick me up today?
I don't know when they'll be here, but they are transporting.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. Good morning, your name?
Stephen Turner, ma'am.
Mr. Turner, you are here for an out-of-county warrant from Broward County. It's for a violation of probation. Your bond is set at none. I'll appoint the Orange County Public Defender to represent you to help you coordinate with Broward County. And when you are released, sir, you do have reporting requirements.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good morning, your name?
That's Bryant.
Mr. Bryant, you are here for me to address your out on bond case. Can you tell me what Mr. Bryant was arrested for? How he came back to us?
One moment, Your Honor.
Was it the Flagler out of county warrant
Yes, Your Honor.
that he was released ROR for?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, I'm not gonna take any action on the 20 CF 7688. So then Mr. Bryant should be released. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. You'll be released, Mr. Bryant. Make sure that you get in contact with your Orange County Public Defender and then check in with Flagler County because they had you released on your own recognizance, but I don't have any information about that case, so you don't want to miss court up there.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Like, I only missed my court date because I was doing 8 months. I was doing 8 months in the county jail.
Were you in Clay County?
No, Citrus.
Okay. So again, make sure you get in contact with Flagler County so you know what's going on, you know where you need to be.
Okay.
All right, sir?
All right.
Okay, thank you. All right, and then we're going to address Mr. Bennett and Mr. Doherty, second session?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, that'll work. State, just let me know when you're ready on this.
33 motion? Ready, Your Honor?
Okay. '20 CF 12530, Damian Jones.
Be granted a state file notice of non-filing before the 33rd day.
That will be granted. 20 CF 11783, Michael Carroll.
That should be granted a state file notice of non-filing before the 33rd day.
That'll also be granted. 20 CF 12441, Amber Woolery.
Be granted a state file notice of non-filing before the 33rd day.
That'll be granted. 20 CF 12420, Tybri Oliver.
That should be denied. The state filed information this morning.
That'll be denied. 20 CF 12436, Christopher Stitzer.
Should be granted. The state filed notice of non-filing before the 33rd day.
That'll be granted. 20 CF 12424, Estebly Rodriguez.
Should be denied. The state filed an information and request to transfer from felony to misdemeanor this morning.
That will be denied. 20 CF 11245, William Matthews. I'm going to deny that. His bond was revoked on 10/18 pursuant to 903.0471. CF 12439, Andrew Stitzer.
That should be granted. The state filed notice of non-filing before the 33rd day.
And that'll be granted. Judge Carter, if I could have the state and the defense place their appearances on the record, please.
Happy Kennedy Swans on behalf of the Office of State Attorney.
Jace Thompson on behalf of the Office of the Public Defender.
Good afternoon, sir. Your name?
Byron Edward Doherty, ma'am. Good afternoon, Ms. Honor.
Good afternoon, sir. Mr. Doherty, you were arrested in case number 20MM8208 for resisting officer without violence. There is probable cause, sir. You were also arrested in 20MM8207 for trespass on property after warning, which there's also probable
This
cause.
is my parents' house, Your Honor.
I understand. Is there an offer for Mr. Doherty
Adjudication of guilt, credit for time served.
in each case?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Doherty, did you want to enter a plea on those cases?
Guilty.
Okay. You are not to return to the scene. You can't go back to your parents' house, okay?
I'm
Do you
going straight to the
understand?
doctor house.
Pardon me?
I'm going straight to the doctor house, ma'am.
The what house?
Expire.
Okay. Good. Okay.
Yes, ma'am. I'm going to expire. I don't want to hurt nobody, but I got to tell them that. I can go lay down and just go somewhere and just chill and come
Mr.
out.
Doherty, are you doing okay?
Yes, ma'am. I am, but I'm just tired, ma'am. I'm tired. I don't want to do right, ma'am, but I am doing right, ma'am. I'm just tired, ma'am.
Okay. Sir, did you read the plea form before court?
I examined it, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Excuse me?
Yes, ma'am. I examined it. I read over it, ma'am.
Do you have any questions about any of the rights that you're giving up?
No, ma'am.
Are you on probation?
No, ma'am.
Do you understand that if you're not a U.S. citizen, this plea will result in your deportation?
I am a U.S. citizen to the fullest.
Are you under the influence of any drugs, alcohol, or medication?
Not the ones that's not well. They're not a mood stabilizing a sleeping pill. Other than that, it's not nothing that the jailhouse didn't give to
All
me.
right, so
but
they help you think clearly.
yes, ma'am.
Okay, and are you thinking clearly today?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr.
ma'am.
Doherty, are you entering a plea of no contest?
Yes, ma'am.
I'll accept your plea as to both cases, adjudicate you guilty, sentence you to 2 days in jail, 3 days in jail, with credit for 3 days time served. You're not to return to the scene. You will have to pay court costs in each case. Those will be due by November 17th of 2021. You have 30 days to appeal the judgment and sentence of the court in writing. And I'm not going to take any action on your out on bond cases, sir.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
This way.
Good afternoon, sir. Your name?
Michael Lee Bennett.
Mr. Bennett, this is case number 20MO1223. You were arrested for disorderly conduct.
Yes, ma'am.
There is probable cause. Was there an offer for Mr. Bennett?
Adjudication of guilt, credit for time served.
Mr. Bennett, did you want to accept the state's offer?
Yes, I do, ma'am.
All right, are you going to enter a plea of no contest at this time?
Yes.
Did you read the plea form?
Yes, I did, ma'am. Order.
Do you have any questions about any of the rights you're giving up?
No, ma'am.
Are you on probation?
No, I'm not.
Do you understand that if you are not a U.S. citizen, this plea will result in your deportation?
Yes.
Are you under the influence of any drugs, alcohol, or medication?
No.
All right, so I'll accept your plea, adjudicate you guilty, sentence you to 3 days in jail. You've got credit for 3 days time served.
Okay.
You'll have to pay court costs due by November 17th of 2021. You have 30 days to appeal, and I'm not going to take any action on your out on bond case, sir. Thank you. Good afternoon, sir. Your name?
Ronald Cooley.
Sir, this is 20 CF 13761. You were arrested for arson of a dwelling. This was pursuant to a warrant. I will appoint the public defender to represent you. You're not to return to the scene or possess any accelerants.
Oh, ma'am, can I say something, ma'am?
Well, not about your case, sir. Do you have
Okay.
a question?
No.
No? Okay. Your bond is $15,000. Thank you. Good afternoon, ma'am. Your name?
Baby Ruth Dean.
Miss Dean, this is 20 CF 13739. You were arrested for possession of synthetic cannabinoids. There is probable cause. I'll appoint the public defender to represent you. I'm going to release you on your own recognizance, ma'am. You must appear at all court dates, and I want you to contact the public defender's office within 24 hours of your release.
Yes,
Thank
ma'am.
you.
Office. Thanks.
Good afternoon. Your name, sir?
Joseph Martin, Your Honor.
Mr. Martin, this is 20 CF 13456. You were arrested pursuant to a warrant for solicitation to commit sexual activity with a child and contributing to the delinquency of a minor. I'll appoint the public defender to represent you. You are not to have any contact with the victim or witnesses in this case. You are not to have any contact with any children under the age of 18 with the exception of your biological child.
I do have David Bigney, Your Honor, as my attorney.
What?
I have Bigney as my attorney, David Bigney.
Okay.
He was supposed to be, he just assuming I would be out last night. That's why he wasn't able to attend IA here today.
Okay. Well, did you want to reset your case?
No. I was just informing a public defender probably, if that's necessary to assign at this time, then I'll take that. I was just informing Bigney.
Did you hire Mr. Bigney?
Yes, he's my retained attorney, but he was under the assumption that I would be out last night, given that OPD provided the bond with the U.S. Marshals. That's why he just didn't make it to IA because there was a hold placed on the bond after it was paid.
Right. There's a hold because you're already out on bond for violation of a domestic injunction.
Yes.
Right. Okay. So my question to you is, did you want me to reset your case to have
No,
Mr. Bigney appear?
no, I would just like to move forward with the case.
Okay.
No, if that's cap, I have a moment.
Sure.
So the bond is being revoked, Your Honor. The injunction that I was already,
I am going to revoke that bond, yes.
the injunction was dissolved for that.
The case is still a pending case, is it not?
It's yes, but we're waiting plea hearings. But that was
Right.
dissolved.
That may be true. I'm still revoking that bond, sir.
Yes, and I would definitely like to have Bigney here present. I was under the assumption like the IA, I mean, that injunction being dissolved and us waiting on the jury trial was the actual hold because we paid the bond, but I've had no way to contact them since they've had me in protective custody in OPD, U.S. Marshals, and...
All right, Mr. Martin, I'll reset your case for tomorrow. Thank you.
Am I going to be able... I have not had a phone call, Your Honor, to contact Bigney.
I'll send Mr. Bigney an email, Your Honor.
Excuse me?
I'll send Mr. Bigney an email.
Thank you. the same. You'll still have the fab though, right? Yeah.
You want me?
So he still has a hole, he can't bend out.
Right.
Yeah, okay. Good afternoon, ma'am, your name?
Kadisha Nelson.
Ms. Nelson, you were arrested pursuant to a probable cause capias for human trafficking, lewd or lascivious battery, promoting sexual performance by a child, and unlawful communication, unlawful use of a two-way communication device. I will appoint the public defender to represent you. Mr. Thompson, are you going to hold the state to the burden at this time?
Your Honor, here's my issue. I don't see human trafficking as a life felony unless the alleged victim is under the age of 18.
It is less than 18. Child under the human trafficking for commercial sexual activity with a child under the age of 18.
I have no probable cause affidavit or anything to review. I was looking for it on Odyssey, online. I have nothing. No set of facts, Your Honor.
Okay, so what is your answer to my question?
There was no way for me to check for me to see if there was any like proof evidence presumption great because I wasn't furnished with anything to review. And there's
So
nothing
are you
online.
going to hold the state to their burden at this time, or you're not?
Well, I need to read it first. I don't have anything. There's nothing for me to review.
Clerk?
I did. She said that there was nothing. Also, can someone give me a copy or?
Statewide case.
Were they planning to be present? Do you know?
I didn't receive an email, and I can check it again, but I had not received an email from them stating they were going to be present today, so.
If it's a statewide case, it's going to be an affidavit from MBI. Mr. Thompson, do you want to reset the case and contact MBI to get a copy of the affidavit?
Yes, I will do that.
Okay. So, Ms. Nelson, at this time, I'm going to reset your case for tomorrow because we don't have the documentation for the underlying offenses. And count 1 is a punishable by life felony. So if the state meets a specific burden, you can be held with no bond pending your trial. So your lawyer wants to obtain that information in order to make an argument as to whether or not you should be held without bond. Do you understand?
No.
Mr. Thompson, can you talk to your client?
Mr. Thompson,
Yes.
you want to come here for 1 second?
Hold on for a quick second.
Just let you know it's gonna be as a PBL even tomorrow. We'll just do the fact.
All right, Your Honor, at this time, the defense won't be holding the state to their burden, and we'll just reserve the right to have a full Arthur hearing downtown.
Okay, so that's a Division 10 case, Ms. Nelson. Your lawyer's going to be able to file a motion in Division 10. Bond on count 1 will remain at none. Bond on counts 2 through 4 is $2,500. Ma'am, good afternoon. Your name?
Erica Alfaro.
This is 20 CF 13707. You were arrested for possession of fentanyl and possession of drug paraphernalia.
Yes, ma'am.
There's probable cause. I'll appoint the public defender. You're not to possess or consume any alcohol or controlled substances without a valid prescription. Your bond on count 1 is $500. Your bond on count 2 is $100. Thank you, ma'am.
So they lowered my bond?
I did.
Oh, so it's 100?
600.
600?
Mm-hmm.
My bond.
500 on count 1 and 100 on count 2.
But on the paper it said I was heroin, not fentanyl. You changed that?
What?
One of my charges was possession of heroin, and now you're saying possessions of fentanyl.
The affidavit that I have says possession of fentanyl and possession of drug paraphernalia.
Okay, so how much is the 10%?
Ma'am, you'll have to call a bondsman.
I don't have no information. I'm homeless. That's why I'm asking all these questions. That's why. I'm sorry.
Your Honor, is there a reason why she wasn't qualified for pretrial release? I see that she has no criminal history.
Exactly. I just want.
Let me talk.
I just need hope. That's all.
None of her former arrests appear to be violent.
No, I'm leaving the bonds as set for now. Thank you.
Will someone from our office get in touch with you?
Johnny Battle Bonding, Your Honor.
Thank you. Good afternoon, sir. Your name?
Yes, Money Caballero.
Kevin Bennett is mental health.
I'll appoint the public defender to represent Mr. Bennett. Mr. Thompson, do you want to waive his appearance?
Yes, Your Honor.
That's 20 CF 10392. He was arrested pursuant to a warrant for extortion, contempt of a court order, and stalking. He's not to have any contact with the victim. He's to abide by the injunction or protection order. Bond on count 1 is $2,500. Bond on count 2 is $2,500. Bond on count 3 is $2,500.
Diego Bernadel Bond.
Thank you.
Ms. Bruno Aponte is detox.
Mr. Thompson, I'm going to appoint your office to represent him. Do you want to waive the appearance?
We're talking about Bruno Aponte.
Yes.
Would you be revoking the Allen bond charge? Your Honor?
Does it matter as to whether or not you want to waive the appearance?
Yeah, I'll waive his appearance, Your Honor.
It's 20 CF 13751. He was arrested for possession of cocaine and possession of drug paraphernalia. There is probable cause. He's not to possess or consume any controlled substances without a valid prescription. I'm not going to take any action on the out on bond case.
Did the bond stay?
Oh, yes, the bonds are to be stayed, 1,100. Thank you. Good afternoon, sir. Your name?
Yes, Monte Caballero.
This is 19 CF 15959. Sir, you failed to appear for court for your plea hearing on June 17th of
Yes,
this
ma'am.
year. Your bond is set at none. I'll appoint the public defender if they weren't previously appointed, and you'll see the judge in Division 14.
When I have a court, says cancel all my courts. When I came to the courthouse, it was closed, and I called my lawyer 50 times and she didn't answer. And my mom is sick in the hospital. I'm trying to get a bond. You know, I got the money out there to bond out. I'm about to lose everything. It's not my fault that the courthouse was closed. Everything says cancel, cancel. Every time I look to the courthouse and I came to downtown, it was closed. And then I moved to Miami. It's not really my fault. That's what I was trying to tell my lawyer, but she never answered her phone calls. And I was in Orlando, Miami for 4 months almost, trying to bring me back to Orlando. And I was waiting to bring me here before I can explain it to you. And they give me a bond granted in Miami to get out, but they're trying from here. And my mom is sick in the hospital now for the COVID-19.
It looks like you do have a bond.
Yes, the $6,000.
Just a second.
Okay.
So this is an old case. Your lawyer filed a motion, and the court held a hearing on the motion on October 30th, 2020, and Judge Young set the bond as follows. Count 1 is $5,000, count 2 is $250, 3, 4, and 5 is also $250.
Okay.
Your personal appearance is required at all future hearings with the exception of virtual hearings and pre-trial conferences when and if the defense has filed a waiver of appearance. So those are your bonds, sir.
Okay, thank
Okay.
you. Appreciate it,
Thank you,
ma'am.
Yep.
I'm sorry, I missed it. I thought it was on.
Nope. So count 1 is 5,000, and then counts 2 through 5 is 250. Good afternoon, your name?
Jose Enyo Castro Gonzalez.
Sir, this is 20 CF 13721. You were arrested for dealing in stolen property and receiving money from a pawnbroker by false verification. There is probable cause. I'll appoint the public defender to represent you. You're not to have any contact with the victim. You're not to return to the scene. You are not to possess or consume any alcohol or controlled substances without a valid prescription. I'm going to place you on pretrial release at this time, sir. Thank you. Good afternoon, your name?
Phoebe, Claremont Phoebe.
Sir, you were here in 20 CF 6636.
Yes.
You were arrested pursuant to a warrant for failing to report and re-register. Your bond, sir, is $1,000. I'll appoint the public defender if they weren't previously appointed.
All right.
Good afternoon, sir. Your name?
DeAndre Lamont Ford.
Mr. Ford, this is 20 CF 13744. You were arrested for possession of cocaine, possession of cannabis, and possession of drug paraphernalia. There's probable cause. I'll appoint the public defender to represent you. Your bond on count 1 is $1,000. Bond on counts 2 and 3 is $100. And I'm revoking the bond in 20 CF 10661. That'll be set at none, sir. Thank you.
You said what happened with that one?
The bond was revoked. Good afternoon, your name? What's your name?
Devontae Francis.
Mr. Francis, this is 20 CF 13746. You were arrested for possession of ecstasy and resisting officer without violence. There is probable cause. I'll appoint the public defender to represent you. Your bond on count 1 is 500. Your bond on count 2 is 100. Thank you, sir. Good afternoon, sir. Your name?
Jamie Gomez.
Mr. Gomez, this is 20 CF 13445. You were arrested pursuant to a warrant for petty theft with 2 prior convictions. There is, this is pursuant to a warrant. I will appoint the public defender to represent you. You're not to return to the scene or have any contact with the witnesses. Your bond, sir, is $1,000. I'm not going to revoke your bond on your out on bond case. Thank you.
Trelane Harmon bonded, Your Honor.
Thank you. Good afternoon, your name?
Robert Harris.
Mr. Harris, you failed to appear for court in case number 20 CF 3388.
No.
We got 2 Harris.
Yeah, it's
Oh.
Robert Harris.
All right, Robert, just 1 second.
This is Robert.
Okay, what about Jonathan?
He should be out on.
Oh, okay. All right, Robert, thank you for clearing that up. Mr. Harris, you were arrested.
Which one are you going to, Your Honor?
Oh, I'm doing Robert.
Okay.
Right here. Thank you. Robert, you were arrested for criminal mischief over
Yes.
$1,000 or more. There's probable cause, sir. I'll appoint the public defender to represent you. You're not to return to the scene or have any contact with the victim. Your bond is $1,000, sir. Thank you. You're Jonathan Harris?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, sir, you're here in 20 CF 3388. You failed to appear for court.
Yes,
back
my
on
brother had passed.
October
Oh, I'm
6th.
sorry.
Mr. Harris, just wait till I'm done talking, okay?
Yes, ma'am. I'm sorry.
You failed to appear for court for your status hearing. Your bond is set at none. You also have 20 MM 6419. You failed to appear for court on November 6th in that case. And in that case, your bond is $2,000, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Good afternoon, sir. Your name?
Shaquan Head, ma'am.
Mr. Head, this is 20 CF 13738. You were arrested for possession of methamphetamine. There is probable cause. I'll appoint the public defender. Your bond is $1,000. You have an out-of-county case from Seminole County for failing to appear on a driving while license suspended case. In that matter, your bond is set at none, sir. Once you resolve the Orange County case or post your bond, Seminole County will come and pick you up.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Sir, good afternoon. Your name?
McCarris Jones.
Mr. Jones, this is 20 CF 13745. You were arrested for battery on a law enforcement officer. There is probable cause. I am going to appoint the public defender to represent you. Your bond is $2,500. I'm revoking the bonds in 20 MM 7999 and 20 CF 1337. Those will be set at none, sir. Thank you.
Mr. Lucarni, his behavior, Your Honor.
All right, I'm finding a waiver of his appearance in 20 CF 13578 due to his inability to come to court due to his behavior. He was arrested pursuant to a warrant for aggravated battery with a firearm. I'll appoint the public defender to represent him. His bond's $25,000. I'm revoking the bond in 20 CF 8818. That'll be set at none.
Jeremy Lutz is a refusal.
Finding a waiver of Mr. Lutz's appearance based upon his refusal to come to court. He was arrested in 20 CF 13742 for burglary of a conveyance, grand theft of a motor vehicle, criminal mischief greater than $1,000, and resisting officer without violence. There's probable cause. I'll appoint the public defender to represent him. He's not to return to the scene. He's not to have any contact with any of the victims or witnesses. Bond on count 1 is $3,500. Bond on count 2 is $150, 3 $150, 4 $100.
I'm sorry, Your Honor, on Adlin Lucarne, the one that was behavior, you said his bond was $25,000, and did you take any action on his out on bond case?
I revoked it.
Okay, he also has an ICE detainer if you want to put that on record.
Yes, okay. Mr. Carney also has a ICE hold. Right, so he's probably going to have to be brought back to court for that.
Okay.
Prior to his release, if he gets the bond out. All right, we did Mr. McCoy this morning.
And Devontae Face is bond warrant.
All right, Mr. Williams? Mr. Williams, you failed to appear in 20 CF 7093. Your bond at this time is set at none. I'll appoint the public defender to represent you. You'll have to have your lawyer file a bond motion in Division 12.
Okay, that's it.
Thank you.
Is that it?
That's it. Good afternoon. Are you David Williams?
Yes, ma'am.
Sir, this is 20 CF 13733. You were arrested for attempted burglary of a conveyance. There is probable cause. I'll appoint the public defender. You're not to return to the scene or have any contact with the victims. Your bond is $1,000, sir. Thank you.
All right.
Good afternoon, sir. Your name?
Mark Brenton.
Mr. Brinson, it is alleged, sir, that you have violated your probation in 19 CF 14859 by being arrested in 20 CF 13668 here in Orange County. Your bond at this time is set at none. I will appoint the public defender to represent you. You'll see Judge Whitehead in the next 7 to 10 days. Thank you.
There's no way to, there's no public defender here?
Right there.
Where?
Mr. Thompson.
No, you'll be seeing.
Whitehead?
Yeah, it's 7 to 10 days.
And that could be your city,
Are you all set, sir?
Yes.
Ma'am, good afternoon. Your name?
Hernandez Wanda.
Ms. Hernandez, you are here in 19 CF 3176. It's alleged that you have violated your probation. In that matter, your bond is set at none. In 20 CF 7861, you were arrested pursuant to a probable cause capias for grand theft 3rd degree. You're not to return to the Walmart. In that matter, your bond is $1,000.
Ma'am, can I ask you a question, Ms.
Sure.
Judge Carter? Can you tell me allegedly when that occurred? Because
Sure.
I've been in Osceola County since April.
Sure. So the state of Florida filed an information alleging that on the 15th of February 2020, in the state of Florida, that you obtained or used general merchandise or electronics, a television or mixer, from Walmart.
Is there a time on there? I'm not trying to be funny.
No, no, no.
Somebody had my car. That's why I'm
Well,
asking.
I understand. They don't put that in the information. It just
Okay.
alleges the date and what the offense is, ma'am, okay?
I appreciate it, Judge.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Thank you.
Sir, good afternoon. Your name?
Keith Mitchell, Your Honor.
Mr. Mitchell, you are here for allegedly violating your probation in 13 CF 6498.
Yes, ma'am.
For being arrested for burglary of a structure and petty theft in 20 CF 13749, for which there is probable cause. In that case, bond on count 1 is $3,500, bond on count 2 is $100. Your bond on the violation of probation is set at none. You will see Judge Whitehead in the next 7 to 10 days, and I'll appoint the public defender to represent you in both cases. Thank you, sir. Good afternoon, ma'am. Your name?
Maisha Patterson.
Ms. Patterson, you are here for violating your probation allegedly in 18 CF 10880. The bond is set at none. I'll appoint the public defender to represent you. You'll see Judge Whitehead in the next 7 to 10 days. The violation of probation alleges the new law cases for which you're out on bond for. I'm not going to revoke those bonds.
Okay.
At this time, ma'am. Okay?
Thank you.
Thank you. Good afternoon. Your name?
Jason Tabor.
Mr. Tabor, you are here for allegedly violating your probation in 14 CF 16401. Your bond is set at none. I will appoint the public defender to represent you. You're going to see Judge Whitehead in the next 7 to 10 days, and you do have reporting requirements when you're released from the jail, sir. Thank
Okay.
you. Good afternoon. Are you Mr. Williams?
How you doing?
Good, sir. Are you Mr. Williams?
Yes, ma'am.
This is 17 CF 14878, sir. It is alleged that you have violated your probation by committing the 2 new law offenses of leaving the scene of an accident and DUI. Your bond is set at none. I'll appoint the public defender to represent you. You'll see Judge Whitehead in the next 7 to 10 days. In that case, I'm not going to revoke your out on bond case at this time. Judge Adams can make a decision on that. Okay? Thank you, sir. Good afternoon, sir. Your name?
Kareem Young.
Mr. Young, you are here for allegedly violating your probation in 19 CF 12383. Your bond is set at none. I'll appoint the public defender to represent you. You'll see Judge Whitehead in the next 7 to 10 days. All right, thank you.